In this video, we will try and understand why it is that when we are having two minuses in an equation, it will become a plus. So basically, when we are adding or subtracting integers, we can come across four cases. That is, you can add a positive integer, add a negative integer, subtract a positive integer, or subtract a negative integer. So we will try and understand each of these cases one by one. Okay, so to understand each of these cases better, let us divide up each of these scenario into two parts. So the first part is we either have to add them or subtract them, right? So whenever we are trying to add something, let us imagine that as a situation where we are walking on the right on the number line. Okay, so whenever we are adding something, we are walking towards your right side on the number line. And let us imagine subtraction to be walking left on the number line. Okay, so for example, if you are starting at 4 and if you want to add 1, you have to go to the right to get to 5, right? And if you want to subtract 1, you have to go to the left to get to 3, right? So let us imagine addition to be walking right and subtraction to be walking to the left. Next, we know there are two types of integers. One, we have positive and we have negative. Now, let us imagine that if we are adding or subtracting a positive integer, we follow the same direction as indicated by the addition or subtraction. Okay, you will understand this better when we take an example. For now, let us just know this. If it is a positive integer, we have to go in the same direction as indicated by addition or subtraction. If it is a negative integer, then we have to move in the reverse direction as indicated by addition or subtraction. Okay. So whenever we come across any of these four cases, what we have to do first is, we have to look at if it is a case of addition or subtraction. Okay, so if it is addition, then we have to walk right. If it is subtraction, we have to walk left. Then we have to look at the sign of the integer. Let us take an example for the first case. So the first case is the addition of a positive integer. For our example, we are starting with 4 and then we are adding the positive integer plus 3. Okay, so now we know that we have to start at 4. So let us start over here. Next, we know that addition indicates walking to the right side starting from 4. Because it is addition of a positive number, we know over here that if it is a positive number, we have to continue in the same direction. So we have to continue in the same direction 3 times. So let us start from 4. First one we get to 5, next we get to 6 and next we get to 7. So the answer to this question is this one is equal to the same thing as 4 plus 3, which is equal to 7. Okay. Now let us get to the second case. So in this case, what we need to do is we need to add a negative integer. Okay. So again, let us start with 4. We have 4 right over here. And we have to add a negative integer. So we know that adding a negative integer, we have to consider it in two parts. First, we know it is addition. So it is indicating we need to walk to the right. But after that, we see that it's a negative number. Because it's a negative number, we have learned that we have to reverse the direction of whatever we started out with. Because we were turning towards the right here, the negative sign indicates we have to reverse the direction and go to the left. So we have to start at 4. 1 left is 3 and next 2 and 1. Okay. So this is the same as 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. Sorry, it is equal to 1. Let us take the next scenario. So this is the case where you have to subtract a positive integer. Again, let us take this in two parts. First, we see that it's a subtraction. So that means we have to walk to the left as shown here. Okay, so let us find our 4. The 4 is right here and we have to start walking to the left. Okay. Next, we see the sign of the integer. Plus 3 is positive, right? So we have to keep going in the same direction as indicated by the sign of the integer. So we have to go 3 times to the left. So that will get us to 1. So 4, this example will get us to 1. That is nothing but 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. Now let us consider the last case. This is perhaps the most tricky to understand based on your intuition. So hopefully this line of thinking will give you a better idea of why this is the case. So this is the situation where we have to subtract a negative integer. Okay. So when we are subtracting a negative integer, again, like our usual thought process, let us take this in two parts. First, let us find 4. Okay. Next, because it is subtraction, we have to walk left. Okay, so we are starting from here and we have to walk left. But next, let us consider the sign of the integer that we are subtracting. The sign here is negative. It is minus 3. And we have learned that whenever it is negative, we have to reverse the direction. So our direction was initially pointed to the left, but now we have to reverse it and start going to the right 3 times, where we'll end up at 7. Okay, so this is why 4 minus of minus 3 is actually equal to 4 plus 3. Okay, so this is equal to 4 plus 3, which is nothing but 7. So we have just learned why it is that when we have minus of minus, it will become a plus.